Tequila.
I like tequila.
I like tequila. Tell you what, I don't like watermelon flavoured tequila, which you'd think would be delicious, but actually
It was,
it's not.
in our defence, like 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, it wasn't tasty.
But it did put us off losing a game of Pop-Up Pirates, so...
Do you know, there's a very specific group of people who understand what the fuck we're talking about now, and 50% of them are here.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's going to... Well, not that we have any, but any prospective listeners we might have might go, I don't know what they're talking about, and turn off.
Well, that's their loss, because they don't know about the brilliant drinking game Pop-Up Pirate.
Pop-up pirate.
Pirate.
Nerf gun edition.
I forgot about the Nerf war.
Yeah, I shot Jack in the eye. That was
the end of
my
the war,
birthday
I
present
think.
for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't the sword and the Trainspotting t-shirt. It's the fact I shot Jack in the eye.
It was very entertaining.
I did feel very bad.
His vision came back
Yeah, thank fuck.
12 hours later.
Anyway, I tell you whose vision doesn't come back. It's all the dead people in the shows we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
Tell me I can't do a fucking natural segue.
Well, no, that was quite jarring. As is most of my conversations with you.
Good. I'm so pleased. Which of these two shows do you want to start with?
Shall we get wedding season out of the way?
Ooh, that's worrying. Why are you saying it like that? Okay, fine. We will do.
Mostly because of the two shows I liked it least, but it's still very good.
Okay.
Not to spoil my opinion on it, but...
Well, I mean, as I said to you just a moment ago, I watched this while we were waiting for a hospital appointment. We had 2 hours to kill, so I thought, well, I'll watch the podcast show. I mean, straight off the bat, I fucking loved this. I thought this was brilliant, and I think we've had a run of really good shows this year so far, apart from Curb Your Enthusiasm and Lead Balloon to some extent.
Well, don't forget, next week we've got American In-Betweeners, so it's not all bad.
Yeah. Oh, God. Jesus Christ. Yeah. So, wedding season. How do you sum it up? So, basically, there is a character called Katie who is on her wedding day. How many guests is it? I think it's like 8 of her guests or something.
It's her whole like
All
top
die.
table, I think, die.
Yeah. Which includes her new husband and I think pretty much every member of his family.
Yeah, and just after getting married to, I'm imagining, someone wealthy, otherwise this isn't a very interesting murder mystery. Because money's the good motive, I think. I don't know. Or maybe she was meant to die, but she's just weirdly immune to the poison they used.
Now that's actually quite a good theory. But it starts with a guy called Stefan who tries to interrupt that ceremony by saying, "Please, could you come away with me? Because you don't love this guy." And she says, "No, fuck off. I want to marry this guy." And then it jumps back to how they met, which is at another wedding, isn't it?
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of like a dinner beforehand. That I think he goes into this whole like thing about, I don't think I'll get married. I don't believe in it. And then he takes loads of drugs at a wedding. And then does he propose to Kate?
No, he doesn't propose to her. He proposes to his then girlfriend at the time, who is like, "Don't do this." But then like he stays at the party. Which is quite fun. Well, I said
because he proposes to it and then does loads of drugs after.
Yeah, and then meets Katie.
Who stole a phone? I remember that she stole a phone.
She did.
I remember why.
Neither do I. It was quite a while ago. But I do remember very much that my overriding feeling with this was I really want to watch more of this.
It's one of those ones that I've definitely not watched intentionally so that we can talk about it on the podcast. but have desperately wanted to watch more of.
Yeah.
Mostly because like it ends with her breaking him out of
Busting him out of not prison, but the interview room that he's in. Oh no, he says if you're not going to charge me with anything, I need to leave.
and the fire alarm goes off.
Yeah.
And then he leaves,
And
and,
it's
they
her.
jump across a roof.
Yeah, they jump.
I
yeah,
thought
a
he
jump
wasn't
that-
going to make it.
Yeah, a jump that nobody could make. By the way, it's a ridiculous jump.
I don't know. I've seen The Matrix.
Ooh, I don't think you remember sort of
What?
the
No.
main thrust behind the Matrix.
Well, no, he doesn't make it the first time, but he makes it eventually.
That's true. He starts flying.
And Tarmac's bouncy, so. But only if you hit it from a height. If you hit it from low, it's very hard.
That's how it works in the Matrix and in every Looney Tunes cartoon, I think.
And I think you'll find real life. That's how they make tarmac. That's why it looks so rubbery.
I quite like the two police detectives, the ones who are interviewing him. I think they're both very, very funny. I'm not sure if I'm sold on him.
As a goodie, or do you think he did it?
Well, no, just like I don't know if he's just and maybe he's supposed to be, but I just think he's quite annoying. But then I guess that's part of it, and then like he redeems himself by doing the tracheotomy on the grandmother. Although I'll be honest,
But like
at this
very
point-
drunk, I don't think he should have. I don't think he should have.
Well, that's the point that the police officers make, is that, well, so you did this under the influence, then you absolutely shouldn't have done it, even though it saved her life. So that's where they're gonna sort of blackmail him into just admitting that he
Well, if they can
murdered
catch him.
people at the wedding. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I thought this is very, very witty. It's very funny, very well observed. I'm just looking back at this jump that he does to the multi-story car park, and it is ridiculous. The trouble is I wonder if this is an example, and we've had this a few times, where the pilot's really, really good, but then it kind of just fades into fairly generic storytelling. Like Channel Zero was a bit like this. I don't think you carried on with Channel Zero, did you? But
Nope,
that
still
was
haven't
like,
seen the first episode.
yeah, that was like one of our favourite pilots that we've ever seen. And then after that, I felt like it really did lose quite a lot of its power. I do wonder if Wedding Season's got like an amazing opening episode, and then is just gonna get fairly generic, like comedy caper sort of thing.
Yeah, but if it does it well and it doesn't pretend to be anything more highfalutin, then I think that's fine. Because like you can be paint by numbers mystery and still be good. But I think, because off the bat, I don't think I could say with confidence who did it.
No, well, yeah.
Which means that the mystery has already lasted one
More than-
episode.
More than fucking Gossip Girl, let me tell you.
Well, no, for you maybe, but by the time that we were actually discussing it, I'd watched more episodes and was fairly convinced that it wasn't him, which is sort of the point of the whole show, because no one knows it's him
Yeah.
until the end when he reveals it and goes, "It was me."
What
And
other
everyone goes,
concept?
"You're not a girl."
Wow. Is that literally? What
No.
are the actual consequences then? If just to, I mean, I can't imagine there's anyone who's like, listening to us, but at the same time isn't making their way through Gossip Girl and not wanting to have the show spoiled for them. Are there any like consequences to him having done all
No,
this sort of stuff?
absolutely none.
Really, Jesus.
Because
Okay.
his whole thing is like the ultimate outsider who, through Gossip Girl, writes himself into their story.
Why does nobody suspect him like the whole time though?
Because he writes mean things about himself and his sister. It gets quite weird, and it's not always him, but it's mostly him. It's actually not shit. It sounds it, but it's not.
Are you going to watch more of Wedding Season?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You?
I think I would as well. I think this will be like quite good bedtime TV. So just before bed, like right, let's watch half hour or something. Stick this on. I think it's gonna be
Yeah,
quite
because that's the dream.
entertaining.
It's half-hour episodes. I like half-hour episodes.
God, do I enjoy a half hour episode? Well, even better is a 20 minutes. I'm like, oh great, in and out, and away we go. Perfect stuff.
Yeah. I also can't see that there's a season 2, so
Okay, well, perhaps it wraps it up. I guess.
yeah. But I am always suspicious of American show that wraps up after one season because that makes me feel like it's just been cancelled, not that it's good.
Well, it's not an American. It's a British show, isn't it? It's all set in Britain.
Hulu. So
Okay. So it's on a Hulu, an American network. It is a British
yeah,
show.
no,
but
yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, it's
yeah.
American financed, I think. And we know what they're like. They're just like 3 episodes, bin it. Although not anymore, because streaming has saved shows at least their first season. Especially if they can just drop it all at once, which this did.
I mean, shall we move on to everybody having a podcast and people who shouldn't have a podcast doing a podcast? Which
I'm trying to figure out which one we are.
You're drawing.
I think we're the second one of those groups.
Only Murders in the Building, then. How much of this have you seen?
1 episode.
Okay.
And it's fucking killing me.
I thought you might enjoy it. Go on. Off you go. Tell us about it.
Well, it opens with people rushing home to their favourite thing, which is listen to the Co-Pilots podcast, True Crime Edition. Which, if we're looking for a spin-off, True Crime's interesting. But better done elsewhere, because murder's funny. And they all sort of cross paths in the elevator, but they don't interact because they're all, the 3 main characters, all wildly different people who all live alone and like 1 podcast. And then there's a fire alarm. And then I think there's like a bar across the street where
They're sort of evacuated too, aren't they?
Yeah, well, I imagine they'd just be evacuated outside, and then they're just like, well, there's a bar, we'll go to the bar. And then they start congregating because they listen to the podcast and there's an empty seat. But then they become friends over a podcast, which...
That can never happen.
I don't think that's a thing that happens in real life.
Certainly not this one, anyway.
And then... Sorry. Then they find out there's been a murder in the building.
Keeping you up, is it? You're quite bored of this Only Murders in the Building podcast, yeah?
No. Just
old.
That. And I just want to get off the call with you and watch more of this.
Oh, right, I see. Well, I apologise for keeping you.
Yeah, you are very much in my way. So basically then the rest of the episode happens and it's all good. I like it.
Wow. You gave up on that description, didn't you? Jesus.
Well, it's the bit I'm not very good at. I'm good at having opinions, but not very good at like remembering things that happen or reading them off a full summary that I've got on my screen.
I'll tell you something that I had forgotten, actually, because I've watched a few episodes of this. I started watching this... Actually, I started watching this when I was away for my birthday earlier this year. And the thing that I'd forgotten is that there is a slight sort of an artistic theme that does run through it. Like, it's funny as well, and you are sort of, the plot sort of carries you along as like they're figuring out what happened to the guy who's dead in their building, and as they figure out how a podcast works and stuff. But there is this sort of artistic streak that runs through it. It's when Martin Short's character says, I saw this piece of art once that was set to Claire de Lune, and it was this guy walking upstairs and falling onto the floor and bouncing back up. I remember seeing that video going round a few years ago, because I think that's probably how it got its fame, as it went viral. I remember thinking, oh, that's actually really cool. But then, as you described them as people who keep themselves to themselves, and it's like quite introverted, but in different ways. That's kind of represented in the things that they're doing. So, with Stephen Martin's character, he drops the pan with the omelette in that he makes every day, and Selena Gomez's character, she drops the it's the jewelry, isn't it? Is it a ring she drops? Or marble, or earring? I can't remember what it is, but that bounces back up to her hand. And Martin Short, he actually drops off his son's porch and bounces back up. So I'd forgotten that was like running through it. So I was quite surprised by that. And then also throw into the fact that it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I think they have sort of the advantage if they've thrown together like a bunch of interesting characters and just gone like, they're doing a podcast, fuck it. And then like throwing a little, and true crime's without any statistics to back this up, I would probably say the most listened to podcasts are probably true crime.
I mean, like, beyond sort of comedy or Joe Rogan, and there's a reason I separated those categories.
I think Joe Rogan's not a category. It's just conversations.
It's just the biggest in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, that is going to get overtaken by Stephen Bartlett at some point, because what Stephen Bartlett is doing that Joe Rogan isn't is he's investing in translating. So he's putting his podcasts out in different languages, which means it gets over the one barrier that podcast had was language. So he's overcoming that, so his will become the biggest in the world. That is my hot take on podcasts.
Yeah. But then they'll be the biggest individual, but I'm talking like genre.
Yeah. There is
and true crime covers a lot of podcasts.
Yeah. Have you? I'm sure I've asked you this before, and I can never remember if you answered. Have you listened to Serial? Because the podcast that they're listening to is, it knows, even the host's name is basically referencing the host from Serial. Have you listened to it?
I haven't.
Okay,
but I feel like you've recommended it before.
You've got to listen to Series 1 of Serial, because it's like that's the blueprint that a lot of true crime podcasts build off of now. It's so good.
Yeah.
The first series, anyway. The second series, I didn't really go for, and I don't think I've listened to anything beyond that.
Do they do like a crime series? Or
yeah,
a crime
pretty much. Yeah. But then what might happen is there'll be...
what I do quite like is podcasts that get through a crime an episode.
Oh, you need to listen to Case File then. That's a good one.
Yep, done it. But it's normally I go through and I listen to the ones with the interesting titles, and then I get bored. Or I go find, because when people do like a series, I don't really want to listen to a series of podcasts about one thing, because generally, someone's made it in an audiobook, and they can go on the spreadsheet.
I see. Oh yeah, if we put podcasts on our tracked media that we consumed the year,
I'm game for adding just more shit to that spreadsheet. I've become slowly more obsessed with tracking things,
lists,
just not calories. But yeah, 'cause I think it would be interesting to see what. Well, it would be interesting to see what podcasts you listen to, and then I'll probably have some Diary of the CEOs and like maybe half an episode of Rogan before I realise that he's lost his fucking mind.
I don't think it'd take you that long, to be honest.
But it's quite nice. It's quite weird to see like a murder mystery dressed up in such like an old timey building that isn't just like Agatha Christie. Expecting to see a big man with a big moustache come in and like solve it all, but I mean, because the first episode really only takes you up to there's been a murder, and they're starting a podcast, and then just kind of leaves it there. I also like their studio. It's much better than our bedrooms.
I really do like this show. I can't remember why I stopped watching it. Like, I've watched probably half of the first series, but I really should get back into this.
Did you stop to try and convince Lisa to watch it and then forget?
No, we started watching it together.
Ah, so maybe there's something through halfway through the first season that rubbishes it at the end.
I mean, I hope not, because it's it's on its third series, isn't it? So I'd like to think it continues being as good as it was like to start with.
Well, yeah, because that's the thing. Because it's not. Because is it a pure Disney Plus thing?
I think so, or is it Star?
Hulu original, apparently.
Oh, okay. Is that so? So basically, if it's on Disney Plus, that's how we get Hulu over here.
I guess so, but I don't think it's all Hulu. I think it's just some Hulu.
Okay.
Hulu's a word that is slowly losing meaning to me now.
What, as you keep saying it?
Yeah, but I guess because it's, I don't know if it's one of those things that can keep going forever just because they want it to, or if it has to hit some stuff. But because I think I've seen something saying there's going to be a season 4.
Quite possibly. And I wonder, like, do you think then in different seasons it's like a different crime?
I hope so, because you'd have to really be drawing it out for it to be one murder that carries a whole.
Yeah. I suppose that it does open up to the possibility of, like,
series 3 they become
the murderers. Well, I imagine what I would like at a guess, and this is absolute guesswork, is that, you know, in the second season it's done by a fan of the show because they want to be featured on the podcast, so they go to that building to murder someone.
That'd be cool. Yeah, I think there's a lot of things that you could do with it if you don't make it one murder for show. But and also they can't only have one murder because the title is only murders. There has to be multiple.
True, yeah.
Otherwise,
imagine that. There's a serial arsonist, and they're like, "Sorry, we're not touching it. That's not our remit."
Yeah, we only do murders.
Oh, you need to watch Psychoville. You just done a very good impression of a character from Psychoville, and you don't even know it.
Oh, have we done Psychoville on the podcast?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think we did it with the League of Gentlemen.
Yeah.
That is what this podcast sort of descends into after a while, is us just going, "Hey, have we done this?"
Well, sometimes we find big gaps.
Yeah.
Where it's just, I guess there's an assumption that everything I enjoy we've done. And I get, to an extent, a lot of things you enjoy are films, so we haven't. But we tried co-directors and it went well for a year. But it was too much work.
Yeah.
To watch 24 films in a year.
No, it's difficult. It's very difficult. See, I've said we've done Psychoville. I'm now not convinced that we have.
Ah.
So there's a couple. Oh, no, yeah, we have.
Did we do it with League of Gentlemen?
Yeah, but I just don't know when the fuck we did that.
Well, that's the thing. A lot of these, they turn out to be a lot older than you think.
Although this one I think might be slightly newer than I think. I can't find it anywhere.
Season 4, episode 10.
Oh yeah, there it is. Well, I'm glad we cleared that one up.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically, you definitely need to be watching Only Murders in the Building, and I would say, yeah, give Wedding Season a go, because I had a good time with it.
As did I, and they're both on Disney Plus, I believe. I'm just checking currently.
Yeah, no, they are. Yeah, definitely.
Which is good. It's always nice when two shows are in the same place. Makes it a lot easier to shill.
Yeah, it's just a shame that Disney aren't giving us any money to say, hey, you know what's a really good idea? Disney Plus.
Well, that's the thing. I don't want to tell you this, but I'm hiding a lot of sponsorships from you. I just know that you don't listen, so I just do the ad reads after.
I wondered how you managed to buy a house.
Oh, you think it's just one? Oh, dear.
Yeah, I think that's probably it for wedding season and Only Murders in the Building. A definite thumbs up for both of them from me. Which, besides, as I said, Lead Balloon and Curb Your Enthusiasm, I think we've got
balloon.
pretty good. Did I say Lead Balloon? Do you know what it is? It's because I work for Lead Forensics. I see that word all the time.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice I did that.
I was genuinely going to let it slide and then was like, if I did something like that, would Joe let it slide?
Fuck no. Of course I wouldn't.
So, therefore, you got called out.
I think that's fair. Yeah. However, next week, we have managed to find a UK versus US.
Yes. We have done the UK show before. We've done the In-Betweeners on the podcast before, so...
Did we?
Yeah, we did it with some girls back in... I think it might also be season 4 or season 3.
Absolutely no memory of some girls.
Well, that's because it happened more than a week ago.
So is this the first time we've had a...
No, it's not.
What? Have we discussed the show twice?
Yeah,
before?
Broadchurch.
Oh, yeah, no, we did, didn't we? Yeah,
because we did a proper Broadchurch episode and then pulled it back for its own US versus UK. Felt wrong saying it that way around because the US had never won. But yeah, that was a really weird one because that had Tennant in both.
Yes. No, that's right. Yeah, I remember that one. Okay, some girls I've got absolutely no fucking idea what this is.
I think I vaguely remember that you enjoyed it.
Is there a bit where they're in a changing room and they're talking about PE at some point?
I think you might have enjoyed it. Oh yeah, was there a bit with a changing room?
No, oh fuck, fuck off. Oh dear. Oh yeah. Jesus Christ, what a prick.
I think there was, but yeah. That was funny.
Oh, fuck.
You have been caught out. I'm clipping that.
Outed
Send
myself.
that to the police.
That's it. I'm just going to delete some hard drives real quick. Just give me 5 minutes. We've got to do the In-Betweeners, and that's going to be interesting.
Yep. American In-Betweeners as well, so it's...
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Not to spoil what we think of it, but Jesus Christ, what a festering turd of a show that is.
So we'll see you next time when we're discussing the In-Betweeners. American style.